had a few people ask me about my 8 frames of the baseball swing, and so I wanted to explain it. Basically, your camera, when you record, it will take video at about 30 frames per second. So in 1 second, it's going to take 30 individual pictures, and then it pieces all those pictures together to make a video. Now your swing, it only takes about a quarter of a second, which is really fast to process. I kind of found this way to take that quarter of a second and break it into those 8 individual pictures. And then I can kind of look at those 8 individual pictures and show a player what they're doing. 8 frames of swing starts like this. This is frame 1. I'll just kind of power through these slides real quick. Here's frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The first thing I had to look at was, where does this start? Where does frame 1 begin? And that was really important because I wanted to have everybody's be sequenced the same way. But if you started at a certain point, it might be slightly different for another person. So what I did is I had to start at frame 4. So frame 4 was kind of my reference point for everybody because I could set their bat horizontal right here. See that all these players' bats are horizontal. So that was my frame 4 for all my hitters. And then what I did was I worked backwards from 4 to a point where I feel like the swing was going to begin. And in frame 1 is basically where every hitter needs to get to prepare themselves to swing the bat, right? The ball's probably about halfway at this point, but essentially the ball is mid-flight and you're either going to swing from this position or you are going to take from this position. Now, if maybe the pitch is real close, you might get to frame 2 or frame 3 and take that pitch. You see a lot of good hitters that are taking pitches in this position, but a lot of hitters will also take pitches at frame 1. But getting to frame 1 is really important, right? Because if you're not getting to frame 1 in a good position to hit, there's no way you're going to get to frame 4, 5, 6, 7 efficiently and on time and have the best swing moving forward. So key points for frame 1, what I've noticed is that your top hand is usually about shoulder height. You have a little bit of separation between your shoulder and your top hand. You know, if you're going to throw a punch at somebody, your hand's going to be shoulder height. If you throw a punch from up here, it's probably not going to be as fast. Or you throw a punch from down here, it's not going to be as fast. So shoulder height's a good spot to like throw your quickest, fastest punch to the baseball. You'll notice in frame 1 here, the shoulders are still lined up to the pitcher or to the baseball. So the hitter's still square, even though the ball's getting very close on them. So if you're noticing like my own swing over here, notice my shoulders pulling out a little bit. That means I'm not very efficient. I'm not quick enough, basically, which makes sense because I'm not as quick as these guys. So your lower half, same thing, should be pretty square to the pitcher. You'll see mine's opening up and these guys are still pretty square. Your barrel of your bat should never be on the opposite side of your head, right? You should be just straight over your head or on the behind your head on the other side. So if you're on this side of your head, you're probably wrapping your bat a little bit. And most of our guys have our knob going to our catcher's glove. So that's a good strong position to be in at frame 1. Frame 1 through 4 is basically getting yourself all sequenced up in a good position to hit the ball. So if I go from 1, 2, 3, and 4, you can see a lot of things moving, right? Mostly driven by the back side of your body. So from frame 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to see a lot of things happening. Your back elbow and your back knee and your back hip are all going to be driving down and kind of forward to get into frame 4 here. So watch your back elbow and back knee driving down to frame 4. Frame 4 is very important. You get some alignment with your shoulder, your elbow, your hip, and your knee, all lined up in this straight line here. So if we move back a few slides, you'll see frame 1. Nothing's really in a line here. Back elbow, hip, knee are all turning, getting in a strong position, ready to start delivering the barrel to the ball. Also notice your head. Notice all these players' heads are not really moving. Staying pretty consistent as everything else is turning. Your head is still probably not moving very much, which is a hard thing to do for some players. So we work forward to frame 5. We're going to be just before contact here. Contact happens between frame 5 and frame 6 mostly. So you'll notice from 4 to 5, there's just little bit more turning. So this is kind of like your final punch turn in your hips right before contact. So notice this final hip drive as your hand and barrel and everything starts coming forward. So 4 to 5 is really important to get that snap and that really quick acceleration to the ball. So we see front knee is locking out, your barrel's just driving through the zone at this point, and your back knee and hip are now completely turned to the pitcher here. So going from 5 to 6, and then 7 is just all about extension through the strike zone. So like I said, you're probably going to contact the ball somewhere between 5 and 6. So there's 5 to 6 right here. Notice most of your body is staying pretty still. It's mostly just your hands and your barrel driving forward through the baseball. Frame 7's a good one to see too. Your arms are extended fully out front. So notice the barrel's like horizontal at this point, the other direction. Frame 4, we were horizontal this way. 5, 6, 7, now we're horizontal out front. Some hitters will start to roll their hands over, kind of like mine over here. You see my top hand's kind of rolling over my bottom hand, where all these hitters over here are still in that good palm up, palm down position, where this guy over here probably rolled over a little bit too much. Frame 8 this is finally where the top hand is going to start rolling over the bottom hand just a little bit, but that means if you're at 7 and you're still palm up, palm down, you're probably got pretty good extension through the ball. Frame 8 also, your head and eyes are all still mostly looking, just past contact. Still, not pulling your head or your front shoulder like way off the ball through frame 8. And that's basically everything past frame 8 is it's not really that important because you've already hit the ball. You should start running by now. Let's look from behind now. Frame 1. I'll just quickly slide through these. Here's frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fun thing to watch is how much the bat kind of travels on the same plane as your shoulders. If you watch like Altuve up here, you can see the barrel of the bat really working around on a flat plane, kind of parallel to his shoulders. You see its barrel's parallel to his shoulders here, and then at contact, his barrel is parallel to his shoulders here. And you'll see pretty early on from frame like 2 here, is where he gets on plane with his shoulders, on plane with his shoulders, on plane with his shoulders, and it just stays nice and flat on that plane there. Also a good angle to watch your back elbow. Watch your back elbow drive in towards your hip. And where you see your frame 4 here, this is where you want your shoulder, elbow, hip, and knee kind of all lined up, stacked, connected right here. And your barrel is still behind you. And then 5, 6, 7 is where you're driving through the baseball, and 8 is your finish. So that's briefly it. Not briefly, but that's pretty much it.